debt. It is a very, very serious issue. And right now in Washington, D.C., politicians are debating the best way to handle the national debt. Some are saying we should get more in debt. Some of them are trying to get out of debt. Some of them want increased spending, decreased spending, increased taxes, decreased taxes, whatever. There's a bunch of this going on in Washington, D.C., and nothing serious is actually getting done because it's politicians that aren't taking it very seriously. Nothing serious is getting done. It's basically one side blaming the other side, and that side blaming the other side, and so on and so forth. So, unlike the image you might get from some politicians in Washington, D.C., I can guarantee you that debt is a very serious problem. It can help or hurt an individual, a company, or even a nation. So there's one principle that you must follow if you want to be successful, and if you ignore that principle, you will fail. That principle is you simply cannot spend more money than you take in. You just can't. That's just common sense. Now, some people are already in debt, and in some cases it's through no fault of their own. Sometimes they have circumstances that are just thrown their way, and they feel that going into debt is their only way to handle it. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's their only means of surviving, but whether it's somebody's fault or not that they are in debt, they are still in debt, and they still have something to deal with. They cannot go on. You cannot live like that. You can't just keep getting more and more debt, because at some point it will catch up with you, and you will fail. And it will ruin your life, ruin your relationships, ruin individuals, companies, nations, if you're not careful with that. So, I wanted to do a video about how you could have financial peace and have one ultimate victory over your finances. And let's talk about debt. A lot of people have debt. So what's the best way of getting out of debt? Well, if you have a bunch of credit cards that you're paying on each month, let's start with that lowest credit card, the one that you owe the least amount of money on. Now, the general consensus is to pay off the credit card that has the highest interest rate first. Well, I can understand that in theory, but I think a better solution would be to pay off that lowest balance on that credit card, the credit card with the lowest balance. Because if you can pay that off first, and even if you're making just the minimum payments, which I would recommend paying $5, $10, $20, even $100 more, if you can do it, whatever means you have, but at least by getting that first credit card paid off, if you can do that and start to get ahead of schedule, then you can then take that money that you were paying on that credit card and use that to pay off the next credit card, and then the next credit card, and so forth. And as you do that, even after you make just a few payments, you will start to get encouraged. And that's going to make you a lot more happier. It's going to make you positive as you start to see the progress. So, and in the long run, by being ahead, you will actually, in some cases, you will actually save more money in interest than you would owe by paying off the highest interest credit card first. So get the low-hanging fruit first and work your way up. Now, if you can't afford to even make your minimum payments, might I recommend somebody to you? I'm not endorsing him, but I would recommend him for a plan. That person is Dave Ramsey. He is an expert on debt. He can tell you how to have financial peace better than I can, and he can give you more information about that if you are struggling with even making those minimum monthly payments with that. So I would recommend refer you to Dave Ramsey. You can follow his plan for free. It doesn't cost you anything. He does have books and things you can buy, but you don't have to buy them. But you can follow his plan for free, get his advice for free, talk to other people, and it will encourage you. And that is that's one way of having one ultimate victory over your finances. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.